It's Saturday morning. You know what that means? It's time for the Remax Magnolia Real Estate Show with myself, Curtis Pope, and we are graced with the presence of James Minchau today.
Hello, welcome.
It feels like it's been a while since you've been here.
It feels like it. It could have been a month.
It's probably about the rotation.
October. I mean, there were a few leaves more on the trees and a few more brown hairs on my beard.
A little less rain.
Yeah. I'm wearing my raincoat today.
You made a good choice. The weather the last week has been a little on the damp side.
Correctly.
Yes. It must be fun, having to get out for these open houses and stuff and have to run into the houses. And
Yeah, last week was dismal. This week it's not too bad out, but we'll see.
All right. Well, so here we are. We got to talk about some real estate. And you always bring the most wonderful topics, I find. You always think a little outside the box.
Well, I try to make it informative. I'm a huge consumer of information, and so when you're listening to things like radio shows and podcasts and things like that, you like to be entertained, but you also like to be informed. So I think sometimes we could probably just go off on a tangent and not even have a show and entertain the people. But sometimes we need to actually say words.
With the increase in AI, another couple of years, we can just type all the stuff in and it'll do our voices and it'll...
I have typed all the things in, Curtis Pope.
Well, Michelle and me did a show when ChatGPT first came out.
Yeah.
And she had ChatGPT write the entire first segment.
Oh, that's perfect.
And we read the script verbatim. Now,
that's funny.
It was funny, though, because it didn't talk quite like we would talk.
It's nice now, though. Holy cow.
And we read these scripts and we were like, it was like, welcome to this fun and energizing real estate show.
Oh yeah, it has this overt use of adjectives.
Yes,
for sure.
And we had some fun with it. And we're like, second, okay, you probably could tell it was a little different. ChatGPT did that entire segment. So
yes, exactly. Yeah, soon there'll be a ChatGPT chip just for people's heads.
Yes, we can just, make me sound smarter. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't hurt me, to be quite honest. It could only make me better.
You could just run away to the forest.
That's right. Okay, let's go. Let's see what ChatGPT can do to help me here. But no, it's there's a lot of good uses of AI. I know there's a lot of fear out there.
It's huge. I use it. I use it like I use the internet. When the internet first came out, everyone was like, "Oh no, scary times." But actually, I use it constantly. My kids use it, like not for their direct schoolwork, but for lots of different things and for entertainment. It's great. My children and they love to have me play Dungeons and Dragons with them, and you wouldn't believe how good to build a game of that ChatGPT
I bet it would be.
Just on the fly, you can create songs that the bards are singing, and it's incredible. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good uses. Like I personally think stuff like the use in the medical field and stuff like that, because where researchers have to take breaks and have to sleep, you can have AI running numbers and things like that and figuring stuff out, and it could be huge in that aspect. I think. It
in all aspects of my life I use it a little bit. The one thing you can't do and why people think it's scary is you can't just type something in and copy it and just paste it into an email and hit send. A very smart person, who I forget the name of, told me 80-15-5. So when you're using ChatGPT, 80% of the work ChatGPT will do. 15% of the work is you going through it and checking it, and then 5% is rewording, retyping the document. And so if you do really want to use AI, you use that 80-15-5 rule, and I go by that all the time when I am using it. Is that it's going to be wrong. It's always wrong. Do not trust its facts. It is a terrible fact machine because it has to give you a positive answer.
Well, I will say this: my boss, when ChatGPT first became a real thing about a year and a half ago, he had some fun and he actually put my letter of dismissal in ChatGPT. So he's got that ready because ChatGPT put out a perfect Rogers-like letter of dismissal that he now has on file. He just has to fill in the reason.
It's like digging your grave for you.
Pretty much. So I know he's got that work done in advance.
It's just in his desk drawer.
Yeah, just waiting.
It's already signed.
And your reason, he just has to put the reason in. Like he has that blank and he can, figure that later.
It's just in pen.
Yeah, so at least I got that going for me.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, well, we should probably talk real estate here.
Yeah, we could do that since it is the Remax Magnolia Realty Show.
That's right. So what are we talking about today?
Well, I want to talk about like privacy and peace.
That's a good segue from talking about ChatGTP and all that.
Exactly. Getting away from all this AI and the noisy cars and getting away from the hustle and bustle of the real world. We can't always get away from it completely, but we can get away from it in our own personal life. We can leave our work and go to a place that really is somewhere that you want to spend time. There's a lot of penalty boxes out there in the world, and in some cases maybe I live in one of them, but where you're like, well, this is a nice enough place, but if you really want that peace and quiet and you want to get away from the whole, as I said, the chat GPT infused latte of a city, then we're going to talk about how to do that. Why would you want peace and privacy? I mean, do you have peace? Do you ever get peace and privacy?
No, not really. Well, yeah, I shouldn't say that. We have a hot tub.
Hot tub.
Yeah, so I can go out there, and especially on a nice starry night.
And you don't have to actually wave to your neighbors from your hot tub?
No, actually, we have some pretty good hedges going around. I mean, the one neighbor, we could, but they're never in their backyard, it seems.
Yeah.
Maybe it's us. I'm thinking it's us. But no, I mean, we got a pretty good backyard in that regard because we're built kind of in a hill and everything else.
Hills,
and
yeah, exactly.
So it's it's a good spot. Then always one of the kids wants to come out and talk, or my wife comes out, or one of the cats show up, and
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can wave at my neighbors from my hot tub, and I definitely don't have like a yard with peace and privacy. If I want that, I'll go in my basement. That's fine. But some people need to connect in their entire property to that, and I think it's a growing trend. People are now starting to get out of the city and be spending more time with nature, because as our world becomes more digital and more corrupted by technology and by just the packed in nature of cities, we need to get out. You can get away from it all, but it comes at a price. It's kind of hard to drive to concerts when you're 35 minutes outside of town. But that's not what we're talking about. We're going to talk about the loveliness of being able to go out into your yard and nobody is in your face and nobody's making noise. Like, I grew up on a farm out in Glen Valley, and I could walk around out back in my barnyard and do whatever I wanted, and I never had that feeling of being judged or being, the neighbors looking over the fence and writing down every move that I make, or calling the city if I did something wrong. And so I think there's a lot of people who are kind of looking for that now. And if you like that kind of thing, we can find you places. There are places like that, and it's very close in the Fraser Valley here. It sort of quiets your mind. Like, can you imagine walking or driving, I guess, up your long driveway, and you get into this clearing of trees, and you have a little bit of a mountain or a hillside as you have in your yard, and you're around you look around, and the only house you see is yours, and just getting out of your car and just breathing that in, like this is a definite reality in the world, right? It connects you to nature. Like, if you've got nothing else to do, you're not busy, edging your grass along the road because the neighbors did. You can now start to do more with nature. You can just walk into your own little forest and say, oh, I wonder what these mushrooms are called, or I wonder what this tree is called. I wonder, where does this stream go? And you're walking around your own yard, actually immersing yourself completely in nature. And if you have kids, now you can kick those buggers out of the house and say, get out. And you don't have to even give them a task, because you're not worried about 1,000 people all walking around your neighborhood and keeping your eye on them. Now they can get into different fun, and that's just also walking around your property because you've got a little bit larger space. You've got woods in there. Your imagination goes wild. I mean, you probably spent a lot of time in the forest as a kid, yes?
Well, I grew up in the the forestry area of Richmond. Lots of forests in Richmond.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I do. We would do some hiking, and there was the nature park in Richmond, which was a nice little kind of urban forest you could walk around to, and we would go there. But the thing about Richmond was the big walk or bike ride when I was a kid was you'd get on, and there's that entire trail around the dike, pretty much almost around the entire island. You can ride your bike really if you want.
And you've got biomes there, right? You've got water, you've got beach, you've got grassland, you've got trees.
Yeah, so it was good because you could get into nature, and I only lived a mile, not quite a mile from the dike. So we get on our bikes, ride down there, and just as a kid, it's flat, so you can ride your bike forever, and not get tired. Yep. And we would just spend all day. I mean, I saw a comedian talk about this the other day, and it's so much our childhood, and you can relate too. And it was like, remember there was a commercial I used to run. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are?
Yeah, exactly.
We had to remind people they had kids at 10 p.m.
I remember those. There were a lot of those things. There must have been a lot of dummies back then. There was one where there was a guy pouring gasoline into a lawnmower, and he was smoking.
Yes,
I remember this. I remember it clear, and I remember at the time thinking, like, don't my parents know this kind of thing?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It was a different time.
Yes, it was
very different. But no, I know what you're saying. Like, there was still, even though I grew up very much in the suburbs, there was a chance to get out in nature. Just half mile away.
Yeah, I mean, most of my memories were. Like, all my best memories were when I was, hiking through Cougar Canyon in Delta, or when I was, out in the back 40 on a dirt bike at the farm. And, those supersede the memories of, finally beating Bowser in whatever video game this
Super
is.
Super Mario 2.
Thank you. Ask him how he knows.
Spend a lot of time doing that.
You got the badge and everything.
I do.
You did you put it on your resume?
I think it is on there, actually. They're in bold print.
It's true. But peace and quiet isn't just about seclusion. It's also about, like, connecting with like-minded people in neighborhoods, and that's why, like, a master plan community can be really good, where if you plant a community somewhere and you build it to suit a certain type of person, chances are that certain type of person is going to move there, and you're all going to be like-minded. So maybe it's a community where it's all about beautiful yards, and so everybody takes care of their yard, or it's a community all about nature, getting into nature, so everybody loves peace and quiet, so they keep out of everyone's way. So you don't always have to get away from people to have that peace and privacy. You sometimes can just move with different people. Like, we have a master plan community that we're working on, the Harrison Highlands, and that place there, everyone seems to have that sort of same mentality, or at least a great population of the people there have the same mentality of just like, keep out of my way, I'll keep out of yours. If we meet dog walking, we'll talk for 10 minutes, we'll be friends, and then get out of my way. It's dead quiet there. There's no chainsaws or loud motors going on there, and it's everybody has that same thing. So you don't have to get out of town to do that. But some people like that. Some people like the ultimate privacy of, I have my own little world. Mm-hmm. And how do we do that? How do we build our own little world? Mm-hmm. Large lot sizes, obviously. If you can't afford a large lot size, there are other ways. But having a big lot, having 5 acres or something like this, is a great way to have peace and privacy, because chances are there's going to be some tree cover there, right? Yep. If you have some tree cover on 5 acres, well, then you're good to go. You can take off most of your clothes and go running around in a chicken suit.
That was oddly specific.
Well, it's my dream. It's my dream to go chicken suit running. And tree cover is way better than, say, big giant fences or big giant walls, right? Yeah. So on a large property with trees, you don't generally see a lot of fences. Maybe there's a barbed wire fence or some kind of a wire fence, but not big, huge fences, right? And tree cover also can block sound as well. So
That's true.
yeah. So blocking the sound, blocking the visual. Now you feel like you're starting to feel anyway like you're in your own little place. And then, as you said, you have a bit of a hill on your place. If you can find a place that has trees and hillside, now you're blocking out 180 degrees completely of anyone else around you. And then maybe on a hill you might also get a view, a far away view, so that you're not seeing people close up. Those hills can be the best seclusion of all. You can have no sound, you can have no visual sight to your neighbors, and this can build your seclusion, peaceful seclusion, I should say.
All right. Well, we should probably take a quick break here.
Yeah, I'm thirsty.
Yeah, we'll get you some water or coffee or something here.
Yep.
And we'll get right back at it in a minute here. So people want more information about Remax Magnolia, where can they go?
They can go to remaxmagnoliarealty.com.
And we're back with more right after this.